Ladies, young ladies, and Russia, good evening to all. Once again, you are welcome here on the Tribune of Awakening Consciousness. So it's the headline of international news, the French President Emmanuel Macron. In war mode, he is very upset with President Putin, Vladimir Putin. That is to say, he is upset with him, as if it was France that was in conflict with Russia. However, it's Ukraine. Well, but we can understand, since they have joined forces to stand against Vladimir Putin, against Russia. He is upset. And he demands a very clear position from Vladimir Putin regarding the ceasefire agreement that has been proposed. You know, since March 11, 2025, there has been this historic meeting in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, between the American delegation and the Ukrainian delegation, where America proposed a 30-day truce, which can be extended depending on the willingness and acceptance of the different parties. America and Europe wanted and want Russia to automatically accept also, no matter the cost. However, we are facing a Russia, which in reality has declared that it would first like to know the content of the proposal as a responsible state, as a sovereign state, for Russia to take the time to think before making a decision. But at the same time, what is happening on the ground is very painful for Europe. It is very painful for Emmanuel Macron, who, according to him, now represents the voice of all of Europe. So Macron says that pressure must be put on Vladimir Putin to make his position clear. And the very content of what Macron is asking for is frustrating by a right. But this is what we are going to discuss in the context of the meeting. In the context of this video conference that I ask you to share as much as possible. Share it in all the groups. Also, give it a lot of likes. And if this is your first time joining me here on this page, I humbly ask you to subscribe. Subscribe to the channel and feel free to invite your friends to subscribe. Also activate the notification bell. So, ladies and gentlemen, Emmanuel Macron stated this Saturday that the pressure needs to be clear on Vladimir Putin, on Russia. And so, he says that the pressure should be clear on Russia in connection with the United States of America, because Russia does not seem to genuinely want peace. For Emmanuel Macron, Russia is giving the impression that it does not sincerely want peace. So, Macron considers Putin as someone who does not want peace. Because if Putin wanted peace, since March 11th, today is March 15th, since March 11th, Russia should have validated. You see, these European countries think that everyone is a volunteer. Yes, in the same way. Macron dictates his laws and feelings towards Africa. He thinks it will be the same with the president of the Russian Federation. Putin is not in a hurry. He moves slowly and surely. But what really hurts Macron is the fact that Putin is intensifying the fighting in the Kursk area, in the Kursk Oblast Sumy, in Donetsk, and a bit everywhere across the Ukrainian territory. It's intense. We have had several video conferences. I have conducted several video conferences here. During these video conferences, I clearly explained to you what was happening on the ground. So, Emmanuel Macron says that Russia gives the impression of not wanting peace sincerely. This is in a message he conveyed to AFP, Agence France Presse, following a video conference meeting organized by London. According to the French president, Russia is not responding to the proposal from the United States of America. According to him, Russia is not responding, but Russia should still respond. So, Issa continues. Emmanuel Macron continues, of course. And he says this. Says, Russia is not... Share this video with me. There you go, share the video conference, share it. So he says that Russia doesn't want to respond to the proposal from the United States of America. It says that Russia is intensifying the fighting. Russian President Vladimir Putin wants to obtain everything, then negotiate. Yes, and that's what Putin wants. since what Putin is doing on the ground, nevertheless, it suppresses the world. You yourself know these last 2 days, we've been asking ourselves, but what is really happening? Because Russia has really intensified. This really intensified the conflict. We wonder. But as you may know, and even if Ukraine had massively invaded the Russian capital, Moscow, just a few days ago, one could say it was in retaliation. But even before Ukraine did so, we saw all over the Ukrainian territory the intensification of the fighting in Ukraine. So, French President Emmanuel Macron says that Vladimir Putin wants to get everything, then negotiate. He continues by saying, if we want peace, Russia must respond clearly, and the pressure must be clear in connection with the United States to achieve this ceasefire. So, he would like the United States of America to put pressure on Russia. Russia should respond as quickly as possible. Here, he is really direct about it. And so he says this. He says, I will not hesitate in the face of the international situation. It's the French ready to engage for the homeland. So, in other words, if pressure needs to be put on Russia, sending soldiers, it means that France is ready. That's what it means. So, the French President Emmanuel Macron announced during a speech on Wednesday, March 5th, he had announced that the homeland needed the French and their commitment. It was March 5th. It means he had announced that the French homeland needs French soldiers and their commitment. Certainly, it's to send them to the side of Ukraine. There you go. He said, the homeland needs the French and their commitment in the face of the international situation. How to understand the message of the head of state? All in all, quite broad. So, there you go. It's good up to this point. The essential is given. So, the message that Emmanuel Macron gives, well, some French people can't understand. That's what was there. Many can't understand. What does he clearly want? But in any case, Russia is also playing on time. Because time is money. Russia refuses to respond immediately. And in the meantime, Russia is working, doing the dirty work on the ground. This is what is causing a lot of trouble for Emmanuel Macron and the Westerners in general. But whatever happens, Russia has not yet responded. And we will continue to follow. We will see the response that Russia will give. We will come back to analyze and decipher here on the platform, the Watchtower of Awareness. I just have to thank you all. Thank you for sharing this video conference as much as possible. I will be back shortly with new updates. It was the voice of your one and only Samurai.